Welcome to Fluido Moments, our podcast series where we will talk about what's it like to be a Fluidian, what we do every day, and what our culture is all about. This is your backstage pass to all things Fluido. Welcome to Fluido Moments, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Fluido Moments is our podcast where we talk about Fluido culture. And we talk about what's it like to work at Fluido and all sorts of cool things and different themes. And today we are here. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, but we're here to talk about giving back. And I'm Pauliina Löytty. Both of you know that, Head of People and Culture at Fluido. And I have Rodrigo here with me and Arūnė. But as said, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. And when you introduce yourselves, also tell me a little bit how you came to Fluido. What's your background before we get into our theme? So maybe who should start? Maybe we should let Arūnė start.
Sure. Where to start actually? So my story about. So hello. My name is Arūnė.
Hi.
I'm originally Lithuanian, and I moved to Denmark 5 years ago for my studies, for masters, where I was studying marketing. And I came from Lithuania, where I had my bachelor studies. And for my bachelor thesis, I did a dissertation on CRM and performance evaluation. So I was introduced into customer relationship management quite early, when I was 22, something like that, 20 maybe even. And then when I came to Denmark, I was studying marketing. And then I thought that marketing was my path and I was very passionate about it. But then I graduated and started looking for jobs and realized that I don't like it. And then I was like, oh boy, what I'm going to do now? And then I was thinking, well, maybe I need to change approach a little bit. And I was thinking, well, I really loved my bachelor thesis. Like it was about CRM. I really had this good feeling that this could be something for me. But it was a very holistic and theoretical approach. So I thought, okay, I need to really get my hands on some CRM system. And I didn't care much on which one. I didn't know about Salesforce back in the time. But once I shifted my approach to that, it was quite easy to get an internship in this startup where I contacted them and they said, oh, perfect timing. We just bought this CRM called Salesforce and we don't have people to implement it. Maybe you would like to try. I was like, yes, sure. Give it to me. So I just joined them for, I think, for 5 months. I completely self-taught myself Salesforce, and I had this epiphany moment that that's the thing I should do in my life. So since then, it was quite easy and effortless. I Googled for companies in Copenhagen who does Salesforce implementations. Fluido stood out right away. I was invited for interview, and it just was very effortless and easy from there on. I knew right away that I want to join this company, and I was lucky.
Yeah. And here you are, and you've been with us
over 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a long time already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, such a nice story, which I kind of already knew, but it's still nice to hear again. Yeah. So, Rodrigo, what's your story then?
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Rodrigo. I come from Mexico, actually. And I've been in Finland for 5 years also. So before being here, well, I came to Finland for my master's degree in international business management. But before in Mexico, I studied international business. After I graduated in Mexico, I used to work with a very popular ERP system. I don't know if I should mention any brands.
Oh, you can skip. You can maybe skip it.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I was working with it for quite many years. And then with my girlfriend, we decided we will move to Finland for studying a master's degree. So I started my MBA here. It was really great. Then I started looking for consulting jobs in the IT industry, because even if I studied business, I have always worked in IT. And I didn't know much about Salesforce at that time. But then I met another Mexican friend who used to work here, who told me about Fluido and how cool it was to be at the company and what Salesforce was. So I decided to check out the website and started doing some research, and I applied. And now I'm here, and it's been a great path for me because I didn't really know much about it, but I learned pretty quickly, and I jumped right away into a project. So
yeah,
it has been a really nice experience.
Yeah, and you're both doing business consulting.
Yes,
and then you're doing other stuff as well outside, which kind of like the passionate things, which is really what we're here for. So giving back and what that is, and you both of you have different stories. So maybe we can start with Arūnė again. Kind of, so the sort of title of this podcast is giving back. So what does that mean to you in this context? Kind of.
Well, I think all of us has certain responsibilities in life, or should, in my mind, have it. And a part of if we are successful in life, and I consider us compared to majority of the people in the world quite happy and successful, we should give back part of our time to either contribute to something that is important for I don't know, some personal cause, or just for our community, even related to what we work, maybe train other people, or if you care about climate change, for instance, you should do something about that, because quite frankly, these important causes, they don't get a lot of, you need as much attention and money and investments and time as much as you get. And there is probably no money in the world to cover that. So if each of us just spends a few hours a month even on that cause, I think it would make a huge difference. So that's what it is for me, and I'm trying to also do something.
Yeah, around that, and that's really. I like what you're doing and all of those. But how about you, Rodrigo? What does giving back mean to you?
Well, giving back means lots of things for me. I think I relate a lot to Mexico and to like the region I come from. Like Latin America is a place with lots of needs. And giving back for me means that if I have the possibility to help others, then I should do it, because there's people who need it, people who are in some need of being helped. I know I just repeated myself, but I think, we are very lucky. We are very lucky with the things we have. So why not go and give back to others? Give some of the things or the time or our mind to them,
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be big things.
No, it doesn't need to be big. It can be small. It can be, I don't know, helping a little bit in your community, in your building, in your block. It doesn't have to be something huge.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, just a few hours or few moments per month or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Like one example, what's I know you're doing a lot because I know. Well, I know you have a few projects going on.
Yeah.
But talk to me about one of them.
Okay, so the most recent one I got involved, something also Salesforce related, started last year. Actually, before Christmas 2018, I went to one of the clients' offices in Amsterdam, and I was there for a couple of days, and I was looking for something to do in the evening, and I don't know if you know of this platform called meetup.com. Mm-hmm. So I Googled it, searched the meetup, and I saw that there is a Salesforce community Christmas party going that day. And I was like, wow, that's a great coincidence. I must go be there. So I ended up in that party, and it was like 200 people. It was a lot of people.
Wow.
And there was consultants and customers and Salesforce. And I thought, what is this? We don't have it in Denmark. Like, at least I thought that we don't have it in Copenhagen. So I was talking to people, and I was the only one who was not from Amsterdam, was coming just completely outside from there. And everybody like, oh, you from Copenhagen? Yeah, cool. You probably also have a lot of user groups. I was like, well, no, not really. I don't think so. And was like, oh, then you should start one. I was like, oh, but I really don't have time. Already involved with this other project and my work. And I was like, you don't need to put a lot of time. You just, once in a few months, you just you set a meeting point and you just meet with interested people in Salesforce and do Trailheads, which is a learning platform of Salesforce. I was like, well, maybe that's a good idea. I should look into it. But at that time, I did not commit to anything. But then I came back to Denmark and started looking for user groups in Denmark. And I noticed that there is already actually one admin user group. And there's this Salesforce rule that you cannot have two. So if there's already one, there should be only one. So I looked at it. I thought maybe I can join it. But it felt for me that it was very Danish. All events were in Danish. All comments were in Danish. I'm not Danish, and even though I attempted to learn Danish, it is really hard language to learn, and I never really did that. So I'm not really comfortable going to Danish events. And I know that just looking at our office, the Salesforce community in any city, bigger city, really is really international. And I know that there's a lot of people in my position that don't speak Danish and still would like to, share the passion and meet together and do something. So I thought, what the heck, I'll just start not as a user group, but just a meetup. So the same platform, I opened my group, called it Salesforce Saturdays, and I started just setting one day a month where we can meet and just talk and share experience, very informal, no sales, involved or anything like that. And it actually took off quite well. There was a month where I was sitting alone, but then people were starting coming with new people every month. And then I felt like I would like to do more. So we started making these like a topic of each time. So now we start with a presentation of certain topic. It could be like presenting a community cloud, for instance, and then people share their experience and just have good time, basically. So yeah, now there's Salesforce Saturdays in Copenhagen. That is not Salesforce user group, but just a meetup, and that's me.
And that's you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So what do you personally get out of that? Like, what's the...
I don't know. Just have fun doing it. I love meeting people. I don't know. It's just me. I love being part of community, and if I'm the one running that community, it gives me like extra, I don't know, motivation and a feel of gratitude. That's wow. People are coming here because I organize this, and people are coming and they're giving good feedback, and it's just motivating to continue. So it's really great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and the feeling, and I know you are, people are talking to each other, learning from each other, getting jobs.
And also, there's a lot of people actually who are looking into changing careers or looking into Salesforce, but not really know what it entails. Like myself, when I started, there was nobody I knew around me who worked with Salesforce. That was only Salesforce account manager for the company I worked for. That I found out about Salesforce, but nobody who worked in a consultant position like I am now. So it's great that we have this platform where people can come and ask these questions, and find out if the job is for them or not, or it's just curious customers as well about the newest practices. And
it's really nice to have that kind of like a networking platform. Like informal place where you can just go and have a chat and discuss about things you like Salesforce.
Exactly. It's just people who has a common interest meet up one time a month and have coffee together, basically.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun, not only for you, but also for everybody else. And
yes.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. And you, sir, you've done something completely different
Yeah.
as your give back kind of thing. So do you want to talk about that?
Of course.
Yeah.
So last year, it was actually in March, I participated in a program from Salesforce called Ohana for Ghana. So I traveled with a group of people from Salesforce to Ghana to build a library for a school in a rural community. But not only that, we also brought computers and servers that can work offline, so they're not connected to internet, to build computer libraries for schools that needed it. So imagine having offline copies of Wikipedia at your school, even if you don't have internet or Wi-Fi or anything. So it was such a great experience. So from the beginning, I opened a fundraiser where Fluido was putting €1 for each euro that was donated there. A lot of Fluidians poured their money in. A lot of people was just helping. It was like, I was so happy because it was the first time I had started a fundraiser. So I didn't really know how it would go. I was thinking like, well, I will just end up with probably just a couple €100. But it ended up pretty good. I ended up with like 3,000 or more. I can't even remember. Fluido gave some laptops. I was so happy to see how people really helped and how people was also giving back, But I didn't really know what was I going to see until I got there. And, we went to this very remote village where there was no water, no internet, no cell phone coverage. And imagine seeing a school where the floors are just like dirt floors. The classrooms, they don't have walls. So the kids are just there. If the weather is bad, it will just rain on them. It's...
How about computers? Do they have a shed?
Yeah, well, the NGO that organizes these trips is called Adanu. They actually build like brick and concrete buildings for the school. So they're building schools, they're building libraries, or the computer labs. So they actually put everything there. And the really cool thing about this is that they involve the communities. It's not just the NGO and the foreigners come and build something and then they leave.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like involving the community. You become a part of that village and you build along with them. So, for example, the first day we went and started digging sand with the people from the village. So they just gave us some small hats they made for us so we could carry the sand on our heads. The kids were giving us water. It was amazing. We had this like a welcome ceremony with the elders from the village where they told us that now you are part of the community because you're taking care of us. Now we are taking care of you. So feel free to roam around, come into our house. It was such an eye-opening, mind-blowing experience because you just see here, I mean, we live in countries where we have everything. We just give things for granted. You go to school, you have windows, you have computers, you have electricity. But once you get there and you see how a lot of people live, and it's not just in Africa, it's lots of countries, Mexico, Latin America.
Yeah, even your home country,
Yeah.
Finland and Denmark. And
yeah, exactly. We live in a bubble and we don't realize until we do these kind of activities.
Yeah. And doesn't that just blow your mind to a whole new level, whether it's going to Africa or whether it's helping someone on Salesforce? It doesn't have to be, huge things or it doesn't have to be very particular things, just helping someone, something.
Yeah.
And takes you to another level as a person yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because you realize that you don't have to do big things. It's just one small step you do is doing a difference already. You're already helping.
Yeah.
And then if everyone is taking one small step, imagine it's like millions of steps taken forward.
So how are you different now after last March?
Wow. I'm still like, my mind is still blown from the trip. I I look at things differently now. If I'm gonna buy something, I think twice. Like, should I really buy it? Like, do I really need this thing, or is it something like just to collect something else? Probably, could I do something else with this money?
Yeah.
Why not to give it to an NGO or do something with it? Like, I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But there are many things that have changed in me. I mean. Whew.
Yeah, well, it is a big thing.
It is a very big thing. It was very impressive to see the conditions of the schools and how the kids struggle, and they even go there and learn. They keep going. They don't stop going. They want to learn.
That's great.
It is, yeah. And you're doing something also similar now. We took the Salesforce thing, but you're also doing other stuff. Like I said, you have a lot of projects going on. So.
Yes. So there's this organization called For Water with a 4. And it started actually already 11 years ago in Glasgow. And there was this, the guy called Sam in Glasgow who just had a bit of a relationship with another NGO called WaterAid. And this company, they're quite big in UK, and I think they also have an office in Sweden. They support different projects on a world that's... they help communities that don't have access to fresh water. They don't have sanitation facilities. Basically, like the village you visited, Rodrigo, they need a lot of help just with this basic needs: access to clean water, toilets, and hygiene education. So he was really wanted to contribute to that cause, but being a student himself, it's not that you have a lot of money. So what he started is really great. So he himself was very passionate about salsa, dance salsa, not a sauce salsa.
Dance salsa, yeah.
Yes. And then he started something called Salsa for Water. And the idea was to teach salsa people and raise money this way and donate all the profits to WaterAid. And it started in Glasgow, and then, with the student community, and then some students move back to their country, and then they start For Water there. And then this way, in 11 years, it grew organically quite a bit. I think we're maybe around 12 cities in Europe, and is going great. Now there's not only salsa for water, there's bachata for water, there was a climbing for water, photography for water, yoga for water. There's all kinds of For Waters. It's great. Now we have like Fluido days. Every year we have For Water Day, where we meet also all the projects in one place for a few days for a congress. And it's huge now. It's always coming over 100, like around 100 people. And it's just a fraction who actually travels to these congresses. So it's great. And then in Copenhagen as well. So one of my now close friends, he was a student in Glasgow himself, and then he moved back to hometown to Linköping in Sweden. He started Salsa for Water there, and then he moved to Copenhagen, and then he started Salsa for Water there. And then me, 4 years ago, I think, when I was in Denmark, and it was still new city for me, I was looking for something to do, a community, and I found it. I joined it as a student just to learn how to dance, and then I just loved the cause, the idea behind it. I became close friends with all volunteers and starting volunteering myself. And then I'm still 4 years later involved with a community. We have now in Copenhagen 2 strong three projects: Salsa for Water, Bachata for Water, and Salsa for Water Junior, which is where we teach salsa for kids.
Cool. Nice.
In schools. So yes, and this is how we roll. We just teach what we love and donate all the profits to the project that we can choose, which we want to support, which is currently a project in Madagascar.
Cool. Yeah. It's just listening to you guys. I'm sure people who are listening to us as well, like, want to give back and do whatever, whether it's professional or for fun or something bigger like traveling to Africa or somewhere else. So amazing stuff, guys. But now I want to ask you the last question. Time goes by so fast. Yeah. So the podcast is called Fluido Moments.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to then what you do at work or what's happening here, Rodrigo, what's your Fluido moment?
I think that my Fluido moment is actually related to the trip to Africa. I was so impressed at how Fluido and all the Fluidians helped in, and everyone jumped into the project and helped in such a way that I felt that we're just a family here. Like I felt everyone is willing to help you, you know?
Mm.
And that really made me super happy. Like I was already very happy with Fluido, but you know, just seeing how everyone reacted to the project and to the idea of helping in Africa just blew my mind. And that's definitely my Fluido moment. And you know, now that I'm thinking it, being able to speak about this last year at our company day, to have some time to show the photos and show how the project was, that was also part of my Fluido moment. I mean, just being able to share this with others and hopefully to make others think that they can help in their communities.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in Africa, just wherever.
Yeah, cool. How about you?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
It's a really hard question, but I think one that pops to my head right away. It's actually my first encounter to Fluido on my interview, during my interview. And it really stood out for me because it was so fun and effortless. And I felt like really welcome already in the interview room. Like I'm not being judged or, tested of purely just of my skills, but it's just also that people here cares about who I am and my personality. And it felt so great. And I was like, yeah, this is the place for me. Like, and since I joined it just continued that feeling that of inclusion, of family. It's really cool that it's a very international company. So you are not standing out as being a white bird in the Danish crowd.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Good. All right. Well, for this podcast, we also have a website called fluidomoments.com. So you can go and check out this video and the others.
Great.
All of them will be online. I want to thank both of you for taking the time to be here. It has been a really special chat for me. And I hope for you guys as well.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun.
Yes,
I told you it was going to be fun, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really cool to share these experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having us here.
Thank you.